Well, hello, my friends. JW here, and welcome to another episode of Dunswell Zoo. I hope you all had a wonderful festive period. Whatever you're celebrating, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever other celebrations you may or may not celebrate at this time of the year. It's currently Christmas Eve when I'm recording this. It's during the day, don't worry. If I sound a bit ill again, it's because I am. I shouldn't make myself laugh. Um, yeah, I just got over one illness, and then I've been hit by another one, so that's wonderful. Nonetheless, let's get stuck in with a brand new episode of Dunswell Zoo. And as we are approaching January and a brand new year, I have received some correspondence. Let's see what that correspondence is, if I can find some animals to look at while I read said correspondence. Typical, they've all disappeared now. Hang on, we might see some kangaroos and some emus here, maybe. So the correspondence I have received is from a lady called Amanda Herbert, and she's taken over from Leslie Harrington, who you may remember from the previous series of Dunswell Zoo before the great file corruption. Anyway, the correspondence reads as follows. Dear Mr. W, allow me to begin our communication by apologising for the significant delay in contacting you, and indeed for the events that led to the situation that we currently find ourselves in. I am aware that my predecessor, Miss Leslie Harrington, contacted you on a number of occasions previously, and that she was very much invested invested in the conversion of the now former East Lake Animal Education Centre and the construction of Dunswell Zoo. Has anyone noticed the emu was just eating the apple really weirdly? Done it again. Sorry, it just distracted me. Back to the correspondence. As you know, the Parish Council has been fully cooperative with your plans, and that very much remains the same. The Council and contractors deeply regret that the previous site had to be abandoned due to spiralling costs and resident objection, amongst other issues. Rest assured that all legal cases are now fully resolved and compensated, and as is the decision of the High Courts, the land of the former Eastlake Animal Education Centre remains yours. It is the hope of the Council that you will return there one day, perhaps with a new vision, and once again continue to make the village of Dunswell the number one destination for animal attractions in the UK. In the meantime, I'm glad to see that the Dunswell Zoological Society has managed to reclaim most of the materials from the old site, and that you have resettled into this new site a little further away from nosy neighbours and better suited to your needs. I have already been given a tour, and I dare say that the new iteration of Dunswell Zoo is better than what came before. In any instance, rest assured, you're here to stay, and the council wishes to extend an olive branch in the form of, well, me, actually. My name is Amanda Herbert. My friends call me Herbie. I took over from Leslie Harrington as the Mayor of Dunswell and the Chair of the Parish Council after she conveniently decided to retire during the court cases. Initially, I was appointed in an interim basis, but last week my appointment in this position was made permanent. And now that I am in this position permanently, I must begin looking out for the best interests of the village and its residents, which is actually why I'm contacting you today. You have evidently been very hard at work here at the new site, not only recreating the original vision, but refining it and adding to it too, all in a magnificent fashion. However, one can't help but notice that the zoo is not open yet. Whilst the council is bound by the decision of the courts to reimburse you for your expenses and time, I believe it is within the best interests of both parties to get this place open to the public, which brings me to a proposal. It is the belief of the council board members that opening Dunswell Zoo to the public in January 2023 would provide a much needed financial boost to both the village and the Dunswell Zoological Society. Animals aren't cheap to feed after all, and you must be eager to show the world firsthand the latest in zoo design and conservation practices. Whilst you could open the zoo in its current state, I believe that the completion of the Australia House would be an excellent attraction to open the zoo with, complementing the animals that already call the zoo home. As I understand it, the Australia House will be home to some rather impressive species not often seen in the UK, and we can capitalise on this for both our best interests and those of the animals too. So, can you complete the construction of the Australia House ready to open the zoo to the public in January 2023? If so, I look forward to seeing your efforts and the cute fruits of your labour. Until the next time we communicate, I wish you all the best and good luck. Yours sincerely, Amanda Herbert, Mayor of Dunswell, Chair of the Parish Council. I knew it was only a matter of time before I was asked to open the zoo to the public. That was my keyboard scraping against the desk. Let's just stay in this mode for now. So I knew it was only a matter of time before I was asked to open the zoo to the public. And it's something I have been preparing for, obviously. But I do agree with her. I think completing the Australia House and then opening the zoo would be an excellent step forward. There is still a fair amount to do in the Australia House. There's 2 platypus habitats, 2 Tasmanian devil habitats, 2 Victorian koala habitats, 2 Lumholtz tree kangaroo habitats, and a southern hairy-nosed wombat habitat. So there's still a fair amount to do, but I definitely agree with her that opening the zoo with this as sort of an opening attraction would be very beneficial. I need to adjust that rock there. I didn't realise that was like that. In anticipation for this, if I've even said that correctly, I don't know. In anticipation for this, there we go, I have begun some work on the platypus habitats. Of course, the yellow-footed rock wallabies have been in here for a while now. They've had some babies, and we've actually sent some of their young to other sites, other collections for breeding purposes. The habitat could do with a little lick of love and attention here and there, but on the most part I'm quite pleased with it. It's just a bit more planting and then this rock formation in the middle, but it's not what we're here for today. Today it is about the platypus habitats. So you can already see I've started sort of roughly here, put some planting in. It's all very sort of low planting. I may change this up a bit just so it hides this support pillar a little bit better. But this is of course the platypus, and you would go down here, and then there's some planting here which needs finishing off. There's Frank, our scale model. Sup, Frank? And then of course we have this which leads to the wombats and where we came in. So it does need some TLC. Terrain needs a little bit of work here and there. But essentially what you would do is you descend down this ramp which would take you into a tunnel. And by this point you would be completely underground. And then you would get your first view. I might knock that back one actually. You would get your first view from here of the underwater viewing for the platypus, which would, I reckon, about here would be where the glass beam will go. I do want this to be educational, so some seating, a talk point, stuff like that. This isn't definite. I just quite like the idea of having some sort of viewing window, so you see it before you can actually get into it. And it's the same at the other side. Again, the ramps. So you would start here and you would descend into a tunnel. You would be completely underground by this point. Walk along here. Need to adjust whatever tree that is. And then you would get a view here. And it's the same for this habitat. The only difference with this one is I also want some viewing over here, maybe like a deck that comes out over the water, because we do have this little path here. It's a little viewing deck that goes out over the water. So we've got two platypus habitats, so we can make them both look really different. One can be really, really natural, and the other one can be more designed for viewing opportunities, stuff like that. But that's going to be today's episode. I'm going to build the platypus habitat. So I will come back shortly when I have made some more progress on this. So I shall see you all in just a second for you. It'll probably be a couple of hours, maybe even a couple of days for me. So I shall see you shortly. So welcome back, everyone. Excuse me, still very ill. It has been a few days since the previous part was recorded. I have been working on the excuse me. It's very professional of me. I have been working on the first of two platypus habitats. So you would come through the doors here, and here's the first one right in front of you. Looks very different the last time. So I've moved the fence in, and it's currently an invisible fence. Just bear with me a moment, please. So we'll try that again. It's currently an invisible fence. I'm going to put another sort of fence in, custom fence. And I've increased the boundary between the path and the habitat, just because the platypus are quite shy. It's very rare to see them in the wild, and even rarer in zoos. So I want to respect that. So I might put a rock wall in here, a nice high barrier. But then around the side here, I may move this tree back and widen the path. It just seems a little bit narrow. Only a little bit though, mind you. So when we get round here, I am going to put a different type of fence in so that you can sort of get a couple of glimpses of the platypus. Like, let's see if we can see any from here. Probably not. Oh, yeah, there's one. Just sort of there. So yeah, I'm going to put a bit of a glass fence in here, just so you can get a bit of a view. And then we're going to go back to a more built-up type of fence to give the platypus some more privacy. Very much still a work in progress, everything you see in here. But then, of course, we have this area. So I've put a metal railing in now. That is the aquatic railing from the aquatic park, of course. And I've done some work on the secondary platypus habitat, but it's definitely, again, a work in progress. So I've got the deck in where you would be able to walk up and out. But I am going to need to remove this deck to put the water in and get the water level correct. You can see this one's a little bit bigger than the other one at the moment, but it's fine. This way, got a little bit disorientated then. Got our rock wallabies. Their habitats definitely in need of a bit of a update at some point soon. I've got it on my list of things to do, but the viewing opportunities aren't fantastic at the moment. So we'll head down this way, even though this way is unfinished. You can see we've got a caretaker. Hello there, pretty lady. Now, I was going to keep this bit open because I do like the fact that you've got this sort of tree line and then the roof. But ultimately, I'm going to go ahead and do what I've done over here, which is cave it in. So, you come down this side, obviously. This is the side I've worked on the most. And then you turn the corner and you head underground. You come down this tunnel and then you turn in here and you have the first opportunity to view the platypus. Got some educational seating, got one of the talk points, got Frank for some scaling work. Just needs a little bit of TLC here and there. There's a couple of gaps, a couple of janky looking things. So because of the sunlight coming through the roof, it's a bit hard to see in certain places, but the trees provide the perfect opportunity to be able to see the platypuses. So we've got 3 in here. We've got a male and 2 female. Their planting is mostly done. The rock work is mostly done. The enrichment is done. This area over here, this rock work, what needs adjusting a little bit, because this habitat next door, the water level sits up here. I've got this piece of whatever that is, limestone edging. It actually drops down for this habitat, so I'm going to do like a bit of a waterfall, so that needs to be worked upon. But yeah, I really like how it looks. It looks very natural to me. Obviously the transparency of the water is set to 100%. That's for premium sort of viewing opportunities. When you think about the size of this body of water though, and the amount of plants that are in here, and the fact there's only 3 animals, it would be quite easy to keep the water fairly clean. The same goes for what's going to be going in next door, another 3 platypus. It's just a bit deeper, this habitat, but I'm going to need to take this out to put the water in. But again, you would sort of come through here. The underwater viewing opportunity is probably going to be the same as it is over here. You know, it's just going to be a window you can see under the water. But yeah, it's really difficult building for underground and underwater viewing for the animals. I find it difficult anyway. But you can see that the platypus look dwarfed here, and you know, they kind of are, but I think giving them this much space is better than giving them something really small. You know, plus we've got 3 platypus in here, and then when they have juveniles, we're going to need a fair bit of room, so I like how this has turned out. But yeah, we're not done yet. I'm going to continue working on this habitat and this habitat. I'm going to try and get it done in one episode. I was planning to do it in 2 episodes, but I don't really fancy doing 2 episodes because the underwater viewing is going to look more or less the same, so I might as well just do it in 1 episode. So that's that. That's what I've got so far. There's the pretty lady. But yeah, definitely this one's going to have more viewing opportunities. So that's where we're at the moment. Obviously I need to put some more planting and signs and stuff in. Excuse me. I hate being ill. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment, my friends. Keepers enter through this low gate and then it dips down. And there's planting on the back here. And they've got food, enrichment, bit of enrichment there. And then we have our platypus. So there are 3. Look at that. They're weird little critters, aren't they? Never actually seen one in person, unfortunately. I would like to, though. Any sign of the 3rd one? I think it's got in the burrow. So that's what we've got so far. So I shall see you again in this episode, of course, a bit later on when we've done a bit more work on this. Hopefully I can get it finished soon. Excuse me. And hopefully I don't die before the episode gets finished. Because, man, I feel rough. Right, I shall see you all very shortly. Well, welcome back, everyone. It's been a few days since the last time I recorded. Good reason for that, though. I've been working on the platypus habitats. You can hear my voice is starting to go again, which is unfortunate. But here we are, in the Australia house, of course, and got some signs up for people to be quiet, because, of course, the platypus are very shy animals. And, yeah, so I'm more or less happy with how everything's turned out. Definitely need some work in the future, though. I will say that much. So we'll go left this time. So rock facades are in, plantings in, and this is the 2nd platypus habitat, slightly bigger than the other one. Different sort of layout as well. Nothing much to see from here, but you wouldn't anyway, because this is a staff path. I need to put some more stuff in here, and a sign there. We'll just race around a bit quicker. This keeper's on a run to somewhere. So lots has changed around here. We've got some barriers in now to stop guests from wandering on there, even though they wouldn't anyway. It's just a bit of added realism. We'll start with this. I've lowered the viewing for the rock wallaby, the yellow-footed rock wallaby. The windows were quite high before, and I felt that was part of the thing. What was contributing to a poor viewing opportunity for the rock wallabies. So we can see Frank here, and this is the sort of viewing the adults get of the yellow-footed rock wallaby. I do need to adjust this one though, it's not the same level as that. I might actually change these planks out, they're a little bit thick. I might put some thinner planks in just so the lower viewing gets a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? So the kids can see, basically. But you can see we can get as close as this to see yellow-footed rock wallabies. But yeah, it's a work in progress, this habitat. But definitely I might put some thinner planks in because that's a bit thick. And I definitely want to change this bit at some point as well. However, that's not why we're here for this episode. I just thought I'd show you that that's what I've been doing in between things. I need to put a cover over this donation bin. And we have our second platypus habitat. So you come up this ramp onto the viewing deck. And again, please be quiet. Got the education for the platypus. You can see into the area where you go for the underwater viewing. But we have a deck here. And the deck allows you to view the platypus from above. It will allow you to see them coming out of their burrow, coming out of here, which leads into, oops, I've fallen off the deck, a little shallow pool and another burrow here. A guided tour will probably come up here at some point, but I'm not doing the guided tours just yet. I want to wait till I'm a bit more finished to put the guided tours in. So let's carry on and go around the corner. And so you descend into the underwater viewing for the platypus. And we've got this area here. I didn't know what to put in this area. I was going to do some decorations and stuff, but if I just bring up this and go for... So we have platypus statues, but they're part of the Outback Pack, and I'm currently working on... I mean, I'm not working on it, but the version of the Outback Pack that I'm using is the fix what was released, so that you could remove the props to avoid the crashes. That's the version I'm playing on. So until that gets updated to Axie, and we can put the statues back in, for now it's just sort of this miniature eating area. You've got pizza, muffins, drinks, a couple of benches. It reminds me of a rib cage, so I've called it the rib cage. And then you've got your tunnels. So this tunnel, again, I need to put cover over this donation bin. And I need to put another piece in there. This tunnel just connects the two areas. This will link back to this area you saw last time. I don't know why I've shot through the roof there. But we're going to go this way. I'm not 100% sold on the rock work here. But the idea behind it is that, unlike the other one, where you're completely underwater for the viewing, this one, you get sort of the surface view, and then you descend to the bottom. And it's a slightly bigger habitat, and it does link with these smaller pools back there. So I have changed the colour of the water in this habitat. It's a little bit more murky, a little bit more natural looking, whereas the other one is like completely filtered, completely pristine and clean, whereas this one's a little bit murky. Still, you can see through the surface to the bottom, but it's just a little bit cloudy. Then we had this space here. I didn't know what to put in here either, so I just put a toilet in there, and it actually fits really well, to be honest. So I like that I came up with that idea. It's just a lovely little sort of pit stop. If you're waiting for the talk, you might need the toilet before the talk starts or after the talk. So yeah, and then you would sit and enjoy the talk while they talk about the platypus and they swim around behind. So yeah, it's pretty much there. It does need some little tweaks and touches here and there, and I think it could maybe do with a bit more colour. It's very grey at the moment, very bland. but that's where we are with the platypus. I will show you the other platypus habitat in a moment. So there are 3 in here, and 1, maybe 2 of the offspring from here will go into the habitat next door, and then we'll bring another individual in to go in here. So we'll have 2 breeding groups, but one's purely, I'd say this one's definitely designed to release the animals back into the wild, or to go to other collections, whereas this one's sort of purely for the zoo, purely for education. That's why the water's like completely clear, and you get the best viewing opportunities and stuff like that. That's definitely what I had in mind. If I just hit play, you can see we have the waterfall running there, and if I just nip back this way, we've got it going at the other side as well, where the water sort of flows through. Oops. So yeah, that is the platypus habs technically complete for now. They definitely want some work in the future, a little bit of touching up here and there, but I'm happy with it for now. It does what it needs to do. So we will need to put a cover over that donation bin as well. I think, is this new? Did I show you this last time or not? This might be new. So I put a sign in there to be quiet, education. This would be where the staff would access the pumping stations for this. And then I've just put some glass in, some flowers. And if you get it at the right time, you know, you've got all 3 of your platypus in view there. What more could you want? So we're going to run all the way back around, and I will show you the other platypus habitat on the inside, which is this one. So this one's much more of a sort of swampy feel. So this one's definitely more in a desert, and there's enough planting, don't get me wrong, but it's minimal. Whereas at this side, it's like there's bushes and bits of grass and reeds, trees overhanging. It's definitely more of a swampy sort of environment I've gone for in this one. And then of course the platypus can either go left and forage for things amongst the rocks, or they can go right and into the eel grass, and they have an underwater feeder there, and their submarine boy. But yeah, that's it. That's the platypus habitats done for now. There is something else that I've worked on in here as well. It took me ages to get it to work. For some reason, there was some issues with the free build mod and what I've put in. It kept crashing the game, but I managed to get it to work. And it's this. This monstrous cage here. And you can probably guess what's going to be in it. It's the monarch butterflies. So interestingly, it shows here that it's like North America, Europe and Asia, but it doesn't include Australia on this. But if I just go into the Zoopedia, you can see here that it includes Australia and New Zealand. I hope that's New Zealand. It includes Australia and New Zealand. So North America, South America, Asia, Oceania, occasional migrants found in Europe and Africa. and then found worldwide due to migration pathways, with the exception of subarctic and subantarctic regions. And of course they can be mixed with the other butterflies. But if we just go for exhibit animals, Oceania, you know, monarch's the only butterfly what appears in that area. So that map's incorrect. But yeah, we've got monarch butterflies in here. You can actually see there's one there. They all usually hang around at the back, to be fair. Yeah, there's one on the roof there. But yeah, it's a walkthrough exhibit, but guests can't walk into it. It's a staff only access. So the staff would come in, and then you got butterfly up here. Yeah, it's just something to flesh it out a bit more. I just felt it was a bit sort of barren in this area. So I managed to sneak a walkthrough exhibit in, and we've put monarch butterflies in. So they're going to breed, and then we'll release them to the wild and stuff. And I'm going to create a monarch butterfly donation poster. But yeah, there aren't many monarch butterflies in there at the moment. Yeah, we've got 8. We've got 4 boys and 4 girls. So, you know, we're definitely going to need some more before you start noticing there's actually butterflies in there. I've put an education point here for the giant burrowing cockroach, just because the whole point of including these was about expressing their importance to the eucalyptus forests and how they help to turn the soil and break down leaf litter and stuff like that. And of course the educators can handle the giant burrowing cockroaches, so I felt it was very appropriate to have that there. So the next episode we're going to be working on the Tasmanian devil habitats. I want to do something different with these 2 habitats. I want 2 very distinct sort of biomes, if you like. So if we just Tasmanian devil, so desert, grassland, temperate, tropical. So I think I'll have 1 sort of desert and 1 tropical. So we'll have 2 very different habitats, and this is where things get interesting. I've got the 2 habitats because you can have up to 6 males and 6 females, but they're usually solitary. They sometimes eat and defecate together in communal locations. So I think what I'm probably going to do is maybe have 1 male and 3 females, 1 male and 2 females, something like that, in each. Or maybe have a breeding group and a bachelor group. I might do that. But of course they are endangered, so we will be breeding them and contributing to the numbers in the wild. So let's just do 3, and they can have how many juveniles? 5. So they need 83 meters squared. I think I give them way more than that. Oh yeah, they've got like loads of room, so we can probably fit a fair few in here without any territory battles and stuff like that. So definitely going to be working on the Tasmanian devil habitats next. I think I'm going to split the numbat habitat in 2. They're still going to both be numbats, but I'll create another viewing sort of opportunity here, and we'll split it down the middle. So there's going to be 2 numbat habitats, just because, you know, they're critically endangered. But they are quite small. They do get lost in such a big habitat. So definitely I think splitting the habitat in two will increase viewing opportunities for the numbat. And then I want to do something with the koalas and wombats. I've got pins and needles in my leg, do excuse me. So my pins and needles are finally gone. My apologies about that. Initially I wanted to do the Queensland koala and the common wombat, but this was before the common wombat had been officially released, so I was using the mod, and they could climb, so I separated them. My current plan is to have the Victorian koala have access to the southern hairy-nosed wombat habitat as well. But then we've got two lots of koalas, like right next to each other. I'm not sure I like that idea. So I was thinking if we swapped the koalas into these two, and then had these as the tree kangaroo, and gave the tree kangaroos, excuse me, access to the southern hairy-nosed wombat habitat. Because we can only have two southern hairy-nosed wombats. So I'm thinking if we did tree kangaroo, split this habitat in two, and then had two pairs of southern hairy-nosed wombats. Then we've got tree kangaroo has access to this, tree kangaroo has access to this, koala maybe? I don't know, I'll figure something out. And that's basically it for the Australia zone so far. The next episode's of course the Tasmanian Devil. We are going to nip over to South America just quickly because there's been some changes there. None of you got back in touch with me about where to place the armadillo habitat, so I just decided for myself. So of course the three sites were one was here, two was here, three was here, and option number 4 was to put it in the Atlantic forest. Obviously option 1 and 2 have now changed. So here I've sort of opened this plaza up a little bit more. We will continue to open it up a little bit more just here. So you now come off the monorail and you can either take an immediate left, and that brings you out onto this plaza and you've got your food court and stuff, or you can follow this path around here. It brings you out near these toilets and the conservation station, so that's new. Used a lot of the new plants in here from the Grasslands pack, which is really nice. I really love the plants. So that's new. And then over on the other side, where the other site was for the potential armadillos, put this lovely roped fence in, and made this little insect area. I did want to block this off with trees, but I thought, you know what, we'll keep it open. It doesn't look half bad, I don't think. So things are filling up nicely in here, of course. So that's where we are with that. So yeah, potentially the armadillo, when we get back to South America, it will either be going in here, which I do really like the shape of this habitat. It's very different. So I may well put the armadillos in here, or I will put them in the Atlantic forest, which will be sort of this area. area here. It's quite small, the Atlantic Forest collection in Dunswell Zoo. It's mainly tamarins, another species of tapir, another species of capuchin, and poodoo. That's more or less it for the Atlantic Forest. But Australia is what we're pushing forward with, because we need to get the Australia house finitoed. So I shall leave you with some platypus. Should we do some underwater viewing? Let's do some underwater viewing. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed your New Year celebrations, and I hope you've all enjoyed this episode as well. Please remember to hit that like button if you have indeed liked the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It really helps me out and helps the channel grow. I always like to hear what your thoughts are as well. Feedback on this series is greatly appreciated. This episode may be a little bit higgledy-piggledy. There's been a lot what's been going wrong. Illness and pins and needles and crashes and all sorts. But we'll get in there, and that's the main thing. Either way, thank you very much for watching. I shall see you all shortly with the next episode. Until then, stay safe, my friends. Stay kind. I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.